Hey guys, just dropping in for a visit. It's been a while since I've seen you guys, so I thought I'd stop by and say hi. I'm out here cooking some chicken, some barbecue chicken, grilling some corn in the special panda way, and I thought I'd take the time to go ahead and talk about a recent trip I took and what it was like to travel during the pandemic here in California. Let's get started. So first off, let me start with giving you a list of items that you're probably going to want to take with you when you go on your trip. The first item is going to be a mask. Don't go without a mask. In Monterey, and I know in a lot of areas, they're fining people for not having a mask in public. So in Monterey, it's a first offense $100 fine if you're found without a mask. And it does seem like the police are patrolling more than normal. I definitely saw more officers than I had in the past. The second thing is you're going to want to take disinfectant spray, disinfectant wipes, so that way you can sanitize your accommodations. Doesn't matter how well it's clean and sanitized by the staff, you always want to take that extra step for yourself, and that way you're not worried about touching or handling the items in the room. The other thing that you might want to do, which is what we did, is we took food with us and rented an accommodation that had a kitchen with it to limit our exposure to restaurants and to food handled by other people. It also was a tremendous cost savings as well. Eating right there, going back to the rental for dinner, lunch, breakfast, that was a huge savings. So it's something I can recommend even beyond traveling in the pandemic. The last thing that I would recommend is is research the area that you're going to. Make sure that you know all the travel restrictions. The original idea was to go to Bodega Bay. That was an area I hadn't been to before, and shoot some photos there. Unfortunately, the rental was canceled and we had no accommodations. Everything else was booked. And I think it's because there's so many cases in that coastal area that we were unable to go there. So we switched gears and went to Monterey instead. So do your research. You never know what's going to come up. So we were lucky. We actually drove all the way from the Central Valley to Monterey into Pacific Grove, and we actually didn't stop to use the bathroom once. We actually drove through. It's about a 3.5-hour drive. Normally we would stop once, but we actually stretched it out and tried to make sure we weren't exposing ourselves to public bathrooms along the route. So we actually made it in. But I can tell you that just the experience of traveling during this time, it's very uncomfortable and very, very stressful. Even with all the precautions that we took, you're constantly having to worry about putting on a mask. What am I coming in contact with? If you're in a store or out in public and someone sneezes or coughs, you look right away. It can be very unnerving. You know, I'm the most relaxed, easygoing guy ever, and I can tell you, it was definitely on my mind. Any sneeze or cough, anybody without a mask caught my attention, and that definitely raised my stress level. The only time that I really wasn't stressed is when I was either out on the beach or in the rental location because it had already been sanitized, that's when I was the most comfortable. But any areas where there were quite a few people, and some of the beaches were really full, and a lot of those people, in fact the majority of them, had no mask on. Specific beach that we went to was Asilomar State Beach. A lot of people there, and a lot of children, none of them with masks, a lot of them closer than 6 feet, a lot of large groups. It didn't really seem like people were too concerned. Of course, we tried to stay away from everybody, at least 6 to 12 feet away from everybody, and find a location where we could just enjoy the beach without ruining it for someone else. Now, while we were at the beach, I was able to take some shots. They weren't landscape shots, but quite touristy shots. And I did get these squirrels. Now, the amazing thing about these squirrels on the beach is they actually climbed inside our truck and milled around looking for food. They weren't afraid at all. They were very cool. We didn't pet them, but we fed them, and they came for a visit and then left. It was kind of amazing and kind of cool. We also saw a lot of deer. I saw a hawk. Asilomar campgrounds or conference grounds is open now, so there are some people staying there. We were able to walk through there. Definitely one of my favorite areas, very rustic, very woodsy and cabiny looking, if cabiny is even a word. But it was something that I enjoyed and highly recommend people going to. Excuse me, I've got to turn my chicken. I don't know, but to me, this chicken's looking really, really good. I'm already ready for lunch. I still gotta grill up some corn, maybe make some rice pilaf, and we'll have a full meal for lunch or dinner. But anyway, back to my story. Now, we did bite the bullet and we did go to the Fisherman's Warf. Something that we debated because of the normally large crowds in that area. People very close together. The stores aren't very large at all. And so we decided to go down there. We did wear masks. We had masks on the whole time. Everybody had a mask. There were signs everywhere, $100 fine if you didn't have your mask on. It was kind of iffy for us. It wasn't something that I was sure that we should do, but I figured since we were there, we would go ahead and we would give it a try. And we did go down to Fisherman's Warf. We went to some of the stores, and we actually ate lunch at this one place. It's called Scales, and it's on Fisherman's Warf there in Monterey. Nicest gentleman in the world greeted us in the front, offered us free appetizer, which I believe is calamari is what they're giving away, free appetizer. We actually were able to sit in the back. They had the social distancing going on, and the food was remarkably delicious. So anyway, where was I? Whale watching. So we decided to go whale watching. We're trying to be mindful. It is quite a long ride. I didn't realize how much the boat moves, and we were on a pretty large boat. It moved a lot. It was hard to stand up. But I can tell you, it was an amazing adventure and something that I highly recommend. Seeing those creatures feeding, and swimming around was amazing. Now, I had a choice. I could shoot video or I could shoot photos, and I chose photos because my camera isn't the best at video, nor are the lenses that I have. And I was trying to shoot it with my GoPro, but the GoPro, it doesn't zoom in, and that's really what I needed, was a zoom on it. So I chose photo, and I'll share some of those photos as well here in the video. But it was so amazing to see these large creatures, so graceful in their natural habitat, and just wonderful and amazing. And to be able to go out there and take those shots, and in that window of time, totally forgot about coronavirus. It was just spectacular. If you guys have never gone, I recommend going. I didn't get seasick. I didn't take any Dramamine, but if you have a weak stomach, I would say take Dramamine. You can take the non-drowsy kind. You can buy a C-band, but that ship, it rolls. It rolls in the ocean. Not really super bad, but bad enough where you could actually lose your lunch. I felt fine, but when we stopped to actually watch the whales, it got super hot. I was surprised on how hot it was out there. I was bundled up because I thought it would be freezing cold, and it wasn't. It was pretty warm out there, and I ended up having to strip off layers just to keep cool, and then once I did, I felt better. The one thing that I can recommend for whale watching, gum. Really helped soothe my stomach. Mint gum, something I can recommend. But definitely check out whale watching. Alright everybody, that's the end of the video. My food is done. It is lunchtime. I'm gonna have some chicken and some corn, and I am ready to eat. I hope you enjoyed my story about my trip during the pandemic. I hope you enjoyed the photos, and if you did, don't forget, like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. It will actually help keep this channel going and actually push it forward so that maybe somebody else might give it a try. I hope you all are well, staying healthy, and I will talk to you guys next time. Let's go eat.